The graduation address gives us the opportunity to hear from a distinguished member of our alumni community. And we're particularly fortunate today that the address will be delivered by Dr. Ahmad Sarmast. Dr. Sarmast is founder and director of the Afghanistan National Institute of Music. Launched in 2008, the Institute empowers youth through education, literacy and music. Most importantly, there are no class, ethnic or gender restrictions on students, with half of all places offered to orphans, street children and particularly girls. Born in Afghanistan, he followed his father, a late Afghan songwriter, composer and conductor, into music. Later, Dr. Sarmast was preparing to return home from studying abroad in Moscow when the Taliban took hold and placed a ban on music. Unable to claim asylum in Russia, he applied and was granted refuge in Australia, later becoming a citizen. Dr. Sarmast returned to Afghanistan following the fall of the Taliban in 2001, with the intent of restoring Afghan musical traditions after years of suppression. The Ministry of Education of Afghanistan soon adopted his vision, leading to the establishment of his institute, which is now supported by organisations and embassies worldwide. Undeterred by a suicide bomb on his symphony orchestra in 2014 that left him deaf, albeit temporarily, he has persevered with his dedication. Dr. Sarmast has previously been awarded the Monash University Distinguished Alumni Award for the Faculty of Arts and was a Victorian finalist for Australian of the Year. I now have much pleasure in inviting Dr. Ahmad Sarmast to deliver today's graduation address.
Honourable Chancellor, Mr. Simon McKeown, Dean of the Faculty of Arts, Professor Sharon Pickering, Deputy Dean of the Faculty of Engineering, Professor George Simon, President of the Academic Board, Professor Chris Davis, members of the faculty, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and especially the new graduates of 2019. A very warm good afternoon to all of you, and a warm congratulations to all graduates of 2019. It's a privilege, it's an honor. I'm very much humbled to be standing this afternoon here in front of you and in this prestigious stage for the third time. First time when I graduated from Monash University, when I received my doctorate. Second time when I was acknowledged for my work to rebuild musical tradition of Afghanistan by the Distinguished Alumni Award. And today, I'm honored and humbled to be standing here in order to tell you the story of my life. Or in other words, to tell you the story of a man who immigrated to Australia 25 years ago with no English ability to speak at all, with no money in his pocket, only with a qualification which was also not recognized and acknowledged appropriately and accordingly here. But today, I'm standing here in front of you as Dr. Sarmast, the man who is widely acknowledged nationally and internationally as the man who brought music back to Afghanistan. You might ask why someone should bring music to a community. Music was, music is, and music will be always an important element of any given society, country, and communities. Before I answer this question, I also would like you to ask you a question. Can you imagine your life without music? Can you imagine your communities without music? But my people, the people of Afghanistan, went through that path for several years when they were denied by the Taliban all their musical rights, including rights to musical involvement, to listen to music, to play music, to learn music, and also to have access to music information. After completing my PhD here in Monash University in 2005, I moved to Afghanistan in 2008 for good. That move was facilitated and possible after almost 3 years of communication and negotiation with the Afghan government to allow me to establish a dedicated music education program for the children of Afghanistan, and most importantly, to establish a music program which would enable and rebuild the lives of hundreds of thousands of disadvantaged kids of Afghanistan, orphans, street working children, and most importantly, girls who enormously suffered under the Taliban time. After 3 years of negotiation, eventually I was able to return to Afghanistan in 2008. And it took me good 2 years to develop infrastructure, raise funding, put in place all prerequisites of music education, get the support of international community and also the Afghan politicians for such an initiative. In 2010, I established the Afghanistan National Institute of Music with a very strong belief in the soft power of music. For me, personally, music is not just a type of entertainment. It's not a type of art. For me, music was, and music will be the most powerful force capable of transforming life, communities, and societies. When I returned to Afghanistan, one of the most important objectives of my work in Afghanistan was to enable the people of Afghanistan to benefit from the healing power of music. The musical scene of Afghanistan suffered enormously as a consequence of the civil war as well as the draconian policies of the Taliban. Other object behind the establishment of the Afghanistan National Institute of Music was to rebuild musical tradition of Afghanistan. I earlier indicated about musical rights. It is a human right that citizens of any given nation should have access to a variety of musical languages. And that was also my aim, to enable the people of Afghanistan, especially the children and the youth of this nation, to have access to a variety of musical languages and also to promote musical diversity in my homeland. Music is also a force for empowering girls and women, and also to promote gender equality not only in arts, culture, and music, but generally in society. And therefore, from the very beginning, I was very much committed to make a modest contribution to the freedom of Afghan women, and also to address inequality in gender, inequality. From the very beginning, I was also focused on the transformative power of music to transform the lives of disadvantaged children. And therefore, annually, we reserve among the enrollments of new enrollment, 50% of the seats in the school for disadvantaged kids, street working children, orphans, and girls. Afghanistan has been badly divided based on ethnicity by the Afghan politician. But again, I use and continue to use the power of music to reunify the youths and children of Afghanistan by enabling them to participate in various ensembles and orchestras where they can learn how to respect each other's differences outside of an orchestra as well. And most importantly, Taliban and the Taliban policies put Afghanistan in isolation. And after the collapse of the Taliban, in spite of the many positive changes that occurred in Afghanistan, still Afghanistan is associated, and the perception about Afghanistan outside Afghanistan is a country of violence, where a part of violence and suicide bombing, nothing else take place. But through our program, and many ensembles and orchestras that we established at the Afghanistan National Institute of Music, which travels widely to the international stages, we also trying to rebuild bridges between Afghanistan and the international community, and also to show the positive side of Afghanistan, which is overlooked in the international media. Within less than 10 years, thanks to a vision, a committed and hardworking team, and most importantly, the bravery and hard work and selflessness of our students and their families, the Afghanistan National Institute of Music became one of the most cultural and educational entities of Afghanistan, widely acknowledged nationally and internationally. And as the founder and director of the Afghanistan National Institute of Music, I'm very proud to announce that we are the laureate of the Polo Music Prize, which is an equivalent of Nobel, or is also known as Nobel of Music. Afghanistan National Institute of Music has been named among top 100 innovative schools of the world. Many ensembles and orchestras of the Afghanistan National Institute of Music travels around the world to show the best side of my native country. And I'm very proud to announce from this stage that just last week, right now in this concert hall, the all-female orchestra of Afghanistan, which is a revolutionary development in Afghanistan, played a sold-out concert here in Melbourne. And just in a matter of 2 days, they played a full house opera house. That's how we connect Afghanistan with the international community, and that's while I'm based in Afghanistan, I'm holding a dual citizenship, I'm also connecting my two countries to each other and facilitating a better understanding between the two nations. The Afghanistan National Institute of Music and myself, we are operating in a very dangerous situation. We achieved a lot. We moved a long way. But at the same time, we are facing enormous challenges, and an example has been given to you by Mr. Chancellor, the security issues. The same people that deprived the people of Afghanistan from their musical identity and musical rights, they still are around. And they will not be given any opportunity to silence that musical school, which became very vocal and very influential. But in spite of all the challenges, we are there. We will be there. And we make sure that the people of Afghanistan are not silenced once again. Together with my team, the parents, and the community of the Afghanistan National Institute of Music, while we salute the bravery of our students, we stand shoulder by shoulder to make sure that their musical rights and this achievement is not taken away again from the people of Afghanistan. The reason that I've been very successful in Afghanistan, the reason that I'm standing here in front of you, is just a vision. And I'm sure all of you today, when you're graduating from here, each of you have your own dreams. And I'm confident that all of you will be striving to chase this dream, doesn't matter upon which circumstances. While I was inspired by the story of my father, an orphan growing up in an orphanage, whose life has been changed thanks to the transformative power of music, I was also inspired by a quote of Sir John Monash, which took me back to Afghanistan. And while you graduating today, this quote, which is to me one of the wisest advice that someone can give to all of us on the day that we are graduating, inspired me to go to Afghanistan. And I read this quote to you, and I hope and I'm confident that when you're leaving this auditorium today, you will be thinking about what Sir John Monash was telling many years ago. And he was telling, equip yourself not just for your own benefit. Equip yourself not just for your own benefit, but for the benefit of the entire community. Thank you very much for your attention.